Welcome to a guide on how to play Dead by Daylight made by someone who probably shouldn't be giving you a guide on how to play Dead by Daylight, but much like my parents, I'll try not to be a massive disappointment to you. Dead by Daylight is a game where one angry, hate-filled gamer known as the Killer is placed into a game with 4 masochists known as the Survivors, who have to escape by powering up 5 generators while avoid having the heads become part of the Killer's new mantelpiece. First, pick a character. Each character has a unique set of perks that can be used to bamboozle the Killer and decrease your chances of getting finger blasted. These perks will also affect how you play the game. For example, near players exist only to migrate south for the winter when the Killer so much as looks at them, with their ability to run so high level that the Killer often ends up giving up the chase to find a slightly more simple-minded survivor who won't turn a game of tag into a half marathon. White players, on the other hand, will be magnetically attracted to any generator and do anything and everything to get that generator repaired, even at the cost of other players' lives. There are also items and offerings which can be used to heal players, repair generators faster, sabotage hooks, and blind the Killer like he's an epileptic by aggressively flashing a light in his general direction. Anyway, pick your character, select some perks and items, and you're ready to go. There are lots of different maps and lots of different killers, all with creative ways of killing you, whether it be from popping out of a crevice to stab you with a knife, or charge across the map like a race car, chainsaw in hand, ready to treat you like a small vulnerable tree. The general aim is to avoid being down by the Killer and being hung on a hook. This can result in... that. Your teammates are able to save you from these hooks should the Killer not decide to stare at you harder than a priest stares at young boys, and you can live to repair generators another day. While repairing the generator, you may receive skill checks that the developers use to remind you that this is a game and you're not just sat with one finger on the left click while gazing into the distance, questioning your life choices that have led you to this moment. Failing a skill check results in a big noisy explosion that doesn't completely destroy the generator, but it kinda does a little bit, so you have to repair it for longer. It also lets the Killer know where you are, so he's probably on his way over to ruin your day. Oh look, there he is now. Yeah, you should probably go. You know a Killer is nearby due to a heartbeat which gets louder and faster. Is it your heartbeat and you're secretly in love with the Killer, so when he's nearby your heart races at the excitement of getting to interact with him and potentially ask them out on a date? Or is it because of your impending doom and despair that awaits you? I'm still not sure about that one. Running away from the Killer can be difficult for new players because the Killer moves faster than the survivors. He also has a big fucking weapon ready to pull out of his arse and cave your skull in. But don't worry, there are a few things you can do to escape. Throughout the map, there's windows which can be vaulted through and pallets that can be dropped onto the Killer to momentarily stop his aggressive waddling towards you, and it's up to you to utilize these to keep the Killer busy for as long as possible, like you're TikTok and he's a student trying to get his work done. This will give other players a chance to repair generators, heal up, and save other players from their painful hanging on a hook. For the less confident players, there's closets where you can go and cry inside because you're scared. You can receive 2 hits from the Killer before going down, which can be reduced to 1 under certain circumstances, and if you manage to escape, run back to repairing generators or healing yourself to be a good teammate instead of the massive waste of space you are. It's likely that during the repairing of the generator, one of your teammates' cheeks will succumb to the lustful gaze of the Killer, resulting in them being hung on a hook, and it's your job to unhook them. This is a simple job unless the Killer decides to wait around a nearby corner, only to immediately bonk your teammate again, wasting 1 of their precious hooks. You can be hung 3 times each game, the 3rd leading you to getting penetrated by those big, black, robbing tendrils of death and gross things and being ascended to the heavens, almost like Jesus, just in a less spectacular fashion. There's also a basement in each map which is almost like the Killer's little sanctuary with 4 hooks, a couple of boxes, and some blood and scary noises sprinkled around. Any players hung here are much more difficult to save because there's only 1 exit, and you'll often find yourself standing face to face with the Killer waiting for you at the top of the stairs like a child who goes into his parents' bedroom to let them know he shit the bed. Even though the objective is very clear cut, there are many routes you can take to get there. Saving players, for example, can be done using a flashlight, a pallet, or by stalling the Killer long enough to allow the player to wriggle from his rugged, strong embrace. If things really go Pete Tong and all your teammates delete the living DLC, instead of repairing the generators to power the doors, you can find a randomly generated hatch which opens when there's only 1 player left, or if you have a special item. Be careful though, if the Killer finds the hatch before you, he'll probably close it, which does power the doors, but you still have to open them, which takes time, much like every other task in this game, because apparently getting things done instantly is impossible in this universe, and they'll probably find you while you're opening it, resulting in... As far as teammates go, there are many variations you'll encounter. Much like Pokemon, they're all unique and magical. For example, the AFK player utilizes the stillness of a tree to blend in with the environment, with the special technique of uselessness. The sweaty players are likely attention seekers in real life because all they want to do is be looked at and chased by the Killer, likely because no one in real life looks or chases after them. Yeah, it's kinda sad. Newbie players are the players who haven't really picked up the game yet, and while you find it infuriating that they're not doing what you would do in certain situations, you must remember that we were all like this at one point, so get off your high horse just because you have no life. If you get all the generators repaired, the final thing to do is open the door and escape. The doors can be randomly placed or in set positions depending on which map you're playing, however there's always 2, and it's your aim to go to the one that the Killer isn't waiting at, because that's kinda awkward. Oh yeah, he'll also kill you. If the stars align and the Killer isn't waiting for you and you manage to power the door, you're free to escape. A timer will start which will give you a certain amount of time to leave the trial, and if you don't, you basically become a human fleshlight for the black tendrils. In some situations where a player's been captured as the doors are being powered, it's a good idea to leave the door partially open so the timer doesn't start, and work together to save the captured teammate who's now likely being camped by the Killer because he wants to get at least 1 kill at the cost of letting 3 of you go. Too bad for him, you've got borrowed time. With this knowledge, you'll probably do alright at Dead by Daylight, but then again, probably not, because I'm a bad teacher. But if you're hearing this, then that means I've got you to watch to the end of the video, and that's all I wanted from you, so you can f*** off now. Bye.